there's average speed camera, says you're allowed to do 50. We're doing bang on 50, set is cruise control. There's vehicles, you know, going past, obviously much faster than 50. So does that mean that they'll get a speeding fine?
So there's a relatively simple answer to this, as well as a bit more of a detailed one. The simple answer is that if your speedometer is showing you as doing 50 miles per hour, you're probably doing somewhere between 46 and 48 miles per hour, depending on the age of your vehicle, what tyre wear it has left, the type of wheels that are on the car, and if they've been changed since it was new. And the reason for that is because speedometers usually aren't all that accurate. Before we get into the longer reason for why you might be being passed by HGVs in an average speed camera zone, if you enjoy my videos, do make sure to hit the follow button. So in a truck, its tachograph is calibrated, which means that the speedometer in that truck will be more accurate than your average car. HGVs are supposed to be speed limited to 56 miles per hour, however many companies will set lower limits so as to save on fuel. Many HGV drivers have told me that Tesco has one of the lowest limits, so the likelihood is, in this video, the Tesco truck is doing 50 miles per hour whilst the camera car is not. Car speedometers must not underread, or in other words, show you as going slower than you actually are. That is a legal requirement, so to ensure that they don't underread, manufacturers set them to overread. How much they overread by will vary, but legally it can be up to 110% of your actual speed plus 6.25 miles per hour. So that means if your true speed is 40, your speedometer could legally be showing you doing anywhere up to 50.25 miles per hour. One way to get an idea of how much your car will be overreading, although not foolproof, is to compare your car's speed on a level flat road with a GPS speedometer. Although the GPS speedometer is not calibrated, so won't be showing 100% of accurate speed, it will likely be a lot more accurate than your average car's speedometer. Or you could compare it with one of those digital speed boards at the side of the road. As an example, here is a photograph from my old C-Max speedometer showing me doing 65 going through a speed camera, but my GPS speedometer is showing 60. The Mrs. Focus of the same gen has a slightly less of a variance of around 4 miles per hour. Here is a photo from Luke C in an HGV in his modern Civic Type R, also showing quite a variance in speedometer versus GPS. Obviously, the newer the car, the more accurate it's likely to be, as this is something that's likely to wear and tear over time, and of course depends on if the wheels have been changed and if the correct tyres are fitted to the car and what wear those tyres have left. Another thing to take into consideration is that HGV drivers are likely to be more aware of the speed camera thresholds. Most police forces still use the NPCC guidelines of 10% plus 2. I'm going to stress for those angrily typing that those thresholds aren't law and aren't in use. I never said they were law, they are guidelines, but many police forces do still use them. The Metropolitan Police not that long ago responded to an FOI request stating that they had recently moved from 10% plus 3 to 10% plus 2. To make what I'm saying very clear, police forces set their own thresholds. It could be 1 miles per hour over the limit and you could be prosecuted, but nobody has ever been able to document a case of them being able to show that they were prosecuted for going 1 miles per hour over the speed limit, and that's most likely because most forces are still using the NPCC guidelines of 10% plus 2. So, if you're in a roadworks average speed camera zone and it feels like everybody is passing you, it might just be that your speedometer is not that accurate. Lovely jubbly, sound as a pound.